The ancients used to say, saving one life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. At the end of the Ming dynasty, in the 13th year of the Wanli era, there lived in Luoyang a man surnamed Wang, renowned throughout the region by the title Wang, the distinguished landowner. The wealth of the Wang family was so great that locals often joked, if the distinguished landowner Wang sneezed and silver fell from the 3rd floor, the whole street could have porridge to eat for a week. But what truly earned people's admiration was not his riches, but his benevolence, the bearing of a true gentleman in the world. Unlike most wealthy families of that time, who worried only about guarding their fortune and feared the eyes of the common folk, he was different. But the distinguished landowner Wang treated wealth as if it were nothing more than dust, freely scattering it throughout the world. If he heard that a road, a bridge, or a temple gate was damaged, he would send people with materials to repair it. If he learned that there were children unable to attend school, he would open a school and invite good teachers. Anyone who was poor, suffering, or hungry, he would quietly help without ever revealing his name. He performed so many acts of kindness that the people of Luoyang could not tell who this anonymous benefactor truly was. Only the close servants knew that the benefactor was none other than the master of the Wang household. No one in the residence ever had to worry about food or clothing. If any servant fell ill, he would personally go and invite a physician, paying for all the medicine without hesitation. Because of this, none of the household staff were ever lazy. Each one was loyal at heart, seeing him as an elder brother within the family. Time flowed like running water, and before he knew it, he was already past 40. One day, with nothing pressing to do, he took a leisurely stroll through the old streets, his heart as light as the clouds, his steps unhurried amid the bustling crowd. When he reached the middle of the northern market, an old fortune-teller with a beard as white as frost, sitting by the roadside, suddenly looked at him with eyes sharp as blades. The moment he saw him, he spoke up, "Sir, please stop for a moment." The distinguished landowner Wang did not believe in fortune-telling, so he waved his hand and tried to walk past. But the old fortune-teller wasn't offended. He simply smiled. "Sir, you have a kind and benevolent face. Today I will speak a word from the heart and won't take a single coin. If my prediction is wrong, you may walk straight on." Hearing this, Wang, who was not superstitious at all, felt a spark of curiosity. So he stopped. The old fortune-teller stared at him for a long moment, then gently said, "Sir, your fate is one of wealth and honor. Your family's fortune is as solid as a mountain, and you will have many children and grandchildren. However, your lifespan has less than 3 years remaining." Hearing the fortune-teller's words was like hearing a bell strike deep within his heart. The sentence fell like a hammer onto his chest, and his expression changed at once. It was not death that he feared, but the thought that a half of his lifetime of doing good was still not enough to exchange for even 3 more years of life. He furrowed his brows, his voice sinking. "Is there any way to avert it?" The fortune-teller looked at him, his gaze deep like the bottom of a well, his voice steady like a breeze passing over the mountains. "I cannot save you, but you can save yourself. Blessings do not come from pleading, they come from action. You have done good all your life, but you must accomplish one great act of virtue to truly change your karma and alter your fate. If within the next 3 years you can do this, not only will your life be prolonged, but the blessings you gain will flow to your descendants like an ever-running spring." The distinguished landowner Wang stood stunned, clasped his hands in gratitude, and took out some silver to offer. The fortune-teller waved his hand and refused. "If you are still alive 3 years from now, come back and find me. Then I will read your fate further." Returning home, he felt uneasy. The fortune-teller's words were like a small thorn in his heart. For so many years, he had quietly built bridges, repaired roads, opened schools, fed the hungry, and helped the poor, yet it still was not enough. If his life ended in 3 years, could a single great act of virtue really change the will of heaven, or was everything merely an illusion? He sighed, spoke not a word to anyone, and only recited silently to himself, "If the affinity exists, it will naturally come. If it cannot be, there is no need to force it." Time flowed like water through a crack in the stone, and in the blink of an eye, nearly 2 years had passed. The household was bustling with wedding news. The young lady of the Wang family was about to get married. The entire residence was busy preparing the betrothal gifts, the bridal dowry, and chests filled with fabrics and jewelry. That day, the distinguished landowner Wang went out to the market himself, intending to choose a few more precious items for his daughter to bring to her new home. The streets were crowded, but amid the noise suddenly came a desperate cry, "Help! Someone saves me!" The frantic, terrified voice tore through the air. Wang furrowed his brows and immediately turned down a narrow alley. The sight before him made his blood boil. 3 burly men with vicious faces were dragging a young woman, her hair disheveled, her face streaked with tears, trying to stuff her into a sack as if she were cargo. The girl flailed her limbs desperately, her voice hoarse from screaming for help, her sobs broken and breathless, terror etched deep in her eyes. Without the slightest hesitation, Wang roared like thunder, splitting the sky. "Scoundrels! How dare you kidnap someone in broad daylight?" The servants behind him rushed forward at once, surrounding the men. One of the human traffickers snarled, "Old man, mind your own business. This brat owes us money, she hasn't paid." The girl trembled violently, sobbing until she could barely breathe. "No, they're traffickers. They're trying to sell me to a brothel." Her words stabbed through the air like a blade. Wang needed no further explanation. He pulled out a handful of shining silver. "How much does she owe? I will pay it all. And if you dare attempt anything like this again, don't blame me for dragging you before the authorities." Seeing so much silver, the men gritted their teeth, muttered curses, and slunk away like rats disappearing into a drain. The girl collapsed to the ground, tears soaking into her clothing. Wang ordered a sedan chair and brought her to his residence. Her name was Xiao Yun. She had a delicate, refined face and spoke with gentle modesty. Through questioning, he learned she came from a scholarly family. Her parents had died early, her home had fallen apart, and with no relatives to rely on, she had become easy prey for wicked people, nearly sold into a place of filth and humiliation. She now sat curled up on a guest bench, her small body trembling again and again. Xiao Yun lowered her head, too afraid to even lift her gaze. Wang looked at her, and his heart tightened as though pressed by a great stone. He spoke, calm yet resolute. "From this day on, I will take you in as my adopted daughter. Under this roof, no one will ever hurt you again." News of the young woman's near abduction and her rescue by the distinguished landowner Wang spread throughout the city of Luoyang in no time. People everywhere praised him and held him in deep admiration. The reputation of the Wang family had long been a ringing bell of benevolence, but this time it echoed even farther. For his actions were not only heroic and righteous but also carried the noble integrity of a true gentleman. Amid the voices of praise, a gentleman surnamed Li, an educated scholar from a respectable family, came in person to visit the Wang residence. As soon as he stepped into the courtyard, he clasped his hands respectfully and spoke with sincere admiration. "Xiao Yun is dignified in appearance and virtuous in character. She is not only worthy of becoming the daughter-in-law of an honorable household but also worthy of being the wife of a true gentleman. My nephew is well-learned, talented, and sincere at heart. He wishes to join his life with hers. If the elder Wang gives his consent, this marriage will surely be a union predestined by heaven." It was all the more auspicious that both young ladies were to be married on the same day, a double celebration at the household. The distinguished landowner Wang, who valued people of virtue and learning, listened to gentleman Li's proper and honorable words. Seeing that both families were well matched, he nodded in agreement without hesitation. On the wedding day, the Wang residence was filled with the color of joy. From the main gate to the rear garden, red lanterns hung high, and firecrackers burst with crisp sounds as if heaven itself were showering blessings. Guests arrived in a steady stream, the atmosphere lively yet still solemn. 2 crimson-flowered sedan chairs were carried out of the main gate at the same time. People packed on both sides to see them off. Xiao Yun wore her bridal attire, her face adorned with makeup, yet tears welled in her eyes. She stepped forward slowly, glancing back as she went, and suddenly grasped Wang's hand tightly, sobbing silently. "Father, I vow to remember the life you saved. In this life, I am your daughter, and I will never forget the kindness that gave me a second chance." That night, after the wedding banquet ended, the Wang residence fell into quiet. The distinguished landowner Wang slept peacefully in his room when a dream appeared. In the dream, a young scholar wearing simple cloth garments, with the calm demeanor and courtesy of a learned man, suddenly knelt before him and respectfully bowed 3 times. "Honorable sir, I am the father of Xiao Yun, and my spirit has been watching over her ever since she faced that calamity. Thanks to your intervention in saving her, I can now rest in peace in the afterlife. Such immense kindness and virtue of yours, even through countless lifetimes of reincarnation, cannot be forgotten." The dream faded, yet his heart remained deeply moved. Before he could even calm his mind, a few days later the young scholar appeared again in a dream. This time his face was radiant, and his voice full of emotion. "I have gone all the way to the underworld, knelt before the king of hell, and offered all the accumulated merit of my past 3 lifetimes, solely to pray that my benefactor's life may be extended. The king of hell was moved and granted it. From now on, you will have an additional 30 years of life. Your descendants for 3 generations will also enjoy abundant blessings, achieving honor and success." Upon waking, the distinguished landowner Wang sat in silence for a long time, unsure whether to give thanks to heaven and Buddha, or to rejoice that an act of righteousness had brought such a profound chain of blessings. Yet he told no one, quietly continuing his simple life, keeping his heart pure and grounding himself in virtue. 3 years passed like shadows sliding across a doorway. One day, while strolling through the market, he happened to encounter the fortune teller from years before. The moment the fortune teller saw him, he froze as if witnessing the impossible. He stepped back 3 paces, eyes wide, mouth stammering. Unbelievable. The mark between his brows shines like the sun and moon, his appearance radiates prosperity, and his aura is that of a young man. This elder now has at least 30 more years of life. Moreover, the fortune of his descendants is bright. They will achieve great honor. Could it be, he has accomplished a great act of virtue? The distinguished landowner Wang merely nodded lightly, neither proud nor arrogant, and then recounted the story of rescuing Xiao Yun. Upon hearing it, the fortune teller's eyes filled with tears, and his hands trembled as he bowed 3 times. To save a life from sinking into the mire is like rescuing someone from hell itself. Such hidden compassion moves heaven and earth. Even the king of hell cannot help but be touched. Such a great act of virtue brings blessings that could last 1,000 years. Yet the principle behind it resonates eternally in the hearts of people. The Buddhist sutras teach that cause and effect follow one another like a shadow follows form, like an echo follows sound. Good and evil, though invisible, cannot escape the circle of karmic consequences. The distinguished landowner Wang did not save others to gain blessings. He acted from the heart without expecting reward or fame. It was precisely this purity of mind and selflessness in action that created true merit. When he rescued Xiao Yun, no one asked him to, and there were no conditions attached. And for this reason, even the underworld was moved. An act born from compassion, free of calculation, has the power to influence the cycles of life and death. In Buddhism, this is called formless giving, giving without attachment to an act, self, or the recipient. When you plant a seed of goodness, it does not necessarily sprout immediately. Yet that virtuous karma quietly takes root and grows invisibly, waiting for the right conditions to bear fruit. It may ripen in this lifetime, in the next, or perhaps not for you personally but for your descendants. This is the law of karma and dependent origination. Actions create results, and results manifest according to conditions. So, do you still think that doing good is meaningless? Do good deeds without seeking recognition. Keep your heart pure without needing praise. Plant seeds of kindness without expecting fruit. Yet the sweet fruit will come when you least expect it. Do you believe that, in the end, good and evil will be repaid? If not, remember the story of the distinguished landowner Wang. If you believe, then live as he did. Without boasting, without calculation, wholeheartedly doing good, grounding yourself in compassion and building your life upon righteousness. Then blessings, like a shadow that never leaves its form, will surely come.
If you find the story meaningful, please sow another good seed by liking and subscribing to the channel.